Hey everyone, we have just come out of the New Zealand premiere screening for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Nan, take it away. What do you think of this one?
I was alright. No, I mean it's definitely an enjoyable film, which is what's somewhat lacking nowadays with big blockbusters that come out. They're
Mhm.
quite generic, but thankfully we've had a couple good ones in Across the Spider Verse and Transformers as well. This is pretty much on the same level of enjoyment as all of those, maybe a bit lower than Across the Spider
Yeah, I
Verse.
was about to call you out just then.
But enjoyability aside, it's still pretty bad. I mean, some of the plot choices is very questionable, and
Hmm.
one of the twists at the end is just like why and then how, and it's not quite Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
You know, it dabbles too far into the sci-fi sort of
Hmm.
area of it all, and I think just the way the characters come together and some of their motivations is just rushed,
Yeah.
especially Antino Banderas's character. I mean, he was in the marketing and he was on the poster as well for like 5 minutes, probably less screen time. It's
Yeah, I don't know
so
why he's really in
wasted.
the movie.
Yeah, this is also the last Indiana Jones with Harrison Ford, so obviously have callbacks to the original three. Um, a lot of them do are quite fan servicey, and it does work at sometimes because it's like
Mhm.
classic characters finally coming back for one last hurrah.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty nice. Harrison Ford is always great as Indiana Jones. You know, he's used to that role. He's done it 4 times.
Hmm.
He even made jokes about how old he was getting in the film as well. So he obviously knows that his time's up. Who's the girl again? Phoebe.
Waller Bridge.
Yeah, haven't seen her in anything except
Hmm.
for this.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed her in this. I think she was
Mhm.
just like she was the perfect chaotic person for Indiana Jones's, like little grumpy archaeological sort of guy.
Mm.
She was always just trying to have fun and mess with him and, just cause chaos and everything. Matt Mickelson, I think you touched upon it before. We watched it how he's like his villain is just the same across every movie he's in.
It always is.
And this is no different, he's just that same sort of villain. It's like half-assed sort of performance.
Hmm.
Doesn't really do anything with the role, and even his character's motivations is pretty dumb at the end of the day, really. The visual effects was pretty hit and miss at some times. But good thing about Indiana Jones is that it doesn't rely too much on CGI. It's more somewhat practical and
Yeah.
whatnot. So that was
Hmm.
good. And John Williams' score was fantastic. Hearing that iconic Indiana Jones score
Hmm.
in the theater
Yeah.
is always great. And then
Hmm.
not just the theme, but like the score overall. It's very Indiana Jonesy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Hmm.
that's me. I think I covered everything I wanted to say there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get around to it once we uh go back and forth on each other here. Yeah, no, I'm pretty much in the same boat as with you on this one. I enjoyed it. It's just a good time at the cinema for me. Nothing more, nothing less. I completely agree with the character motivations being rushed.
Mhm.
Like there were a lot of there's a lot of emotional angles and emotional strings that you could really tug on, especially with the characters. And as we learn about them and what they've gone through, I'm surprised they didn't really go into that much. I think it's like really brought up twice where you get into the real like the emotional part of that character, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you really could have had us there, like if you keep bringing it up and like weaved it within like the screenplay and stuff like that, and gave it the motivations a bit more like emotional weight to it. And so, like, when you're watching all those action sequences, you don't really care what's happening because there's no emotion behind it. You know, going back to Spider Verse, for example, you're deep in that action because there's a lot of emotional weight in it. So that's what this movie is missing. I think just characterization in general is pretty poor. Maybe not poor, but bland. Just a very like basic level. I could have done a lot more here. Um, I think the story, the sci-fi side of things and the adventure side of things, it's not that great in my opinion. A lot of it is just running around all over the world.
Mhm.
Um, as for the villains, I don't know how they kept catching up to them. I didn't like the way action set pieces laid out, how the villains were just always around every corner, and some of it didn't even make sense at times, and I was like, what is going on?
I think I know what scene you're talking about.
Yeah, there's multiple of them. The characters running in every direction. There's just a bad guy at this every single one. And I'm like, but we just saw you right there. Like, yeah. So all that kind of stuff's happening. Which was kind of annoying of how like you have to keep track of where they are and where they're going and stuff like that. You know, something like Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's very basic in terms of you know where you are at all times, and it feels more of a journey all in one, and rather than like a cross country kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I felt like it doesn't feel like Indiana Jones to me. I just want like the one adventure, not just all over the place.
It's a very amazing race, like, you know?
Yeah. They're just trying to get to a place as soon as possible. It almost felt like Aquaman as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess there's a few scenes in there that do remind me of that. The visual effects, hit or miss. The de-aging of Harrison Ford. It looked like a video game character a lot of the times.
Like I thought it was actually pretty decent.
There were some moments where it was decent, but when there was like a lot of movement.
Oh yeah, that's what
yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm playing a video game right now. Just a really good video game, of course. But yeah, no, I was going to take my time. And then my next comment where it's like, it is quite good. I think the CGI in this movie, there's some really good stuff in here. You know, when I think about CGI movies these days, it's always like, it's not hard to be good now. Like a lot of them are just bad. Looking at you, Flash and Quantumania. But yeah, no, it's like genuinely like quite good at times here. And like as you said before, with practical effects, I think the blending or having the presence of, you know, practical sets and practical action in this, it makes it easier to like mask over any CGI flaws. Which obviously are going to assist with the visual quality of everything. The production design, I think, is impeccable. Maybe even the best aspect of the movie for me. Like, obviously going to all these real locations around the globe, but just the cars and capturing the time setting and
costuming.
All that kind of stuff. Yeah, costuming was great. Just all of it across the board was just really well done. Completely capturing whatever time period that a scene's taking place in and whatnot. So, yeah, I got to commend them for that. And yeah, you touched upon the score. I thought it was fine. It feels natural to what Indiana Jones is. Probably not to the level of like Raiders. But yeah, the theme comes in, and as soon as it hits, you're gonna get that little bit of euphoria coming through.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. What did you think of the de-aging, like a little bit more in depth there? What do you think?
You're right. Like, especially the scene where they're on the train, like on top of the train running.
Yeah.
That's when you sort of notice it, because it's like you got the de-aging aspect, but then you also have like a full-on CGI scene right there. So sometimes it like doesn't blend in quite nice, but like, you know, when he's inside the train and there's just still movements, it's somewhat more of a practical set. That's where it works really well.
Yeah.
I noticed that they did de-age him twice. It was once when he was very young, and then another one. I can't remember when. I think it was either after or during the Last Crusade, around about that time period as well.
Oh, when he's with the father. Yeah.
Yeah. So
in the house, yeah.
Yeah. So they de-aged him to be that sort of age. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah,
as well.
that one was really good. Yeah,
because you know it's a quiet, somewhat scene, and it actually looked like Harrison Ford from like 15 years ago or something like that. So I think that aspect was really good. But the one at the start, it's it's real hit or miss.
Yeah, you can definitely tell this is going to be Harrison Ford's last, time being in that hat. I think that I just don't think they should have done another one with him. He's just so slow, and he has no pep in his step.
He can't do those fast. Like,
and you can see it. And like, I'm glad there's some self-awareness to it by like making jokes about it in the thing. But yeah, it felt really a little bit awkward at times. Like he's just super slow, and you know, no offense to the guy, all due respect, a punch from a character that's moving that slow, it's just not gonna knock someone out clean, kind of thing. Um, so it does lose a little bit of believability at that point. But yeah, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, yeah, I thought she was really good. If she was to take over the mantle, knowing her character now, how would you feel about that?
I wouldn't mind it. I still
Mm.
think it can't be called, well, it probably will be called Indiana Jones because can't do a spin off without having the original name in the title.
Yeah, you couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah. But I wouldn't mind a spin off with her. Just I don't think the character of Indiana Jones should be rebooted.
Yeah.
They probably are going to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind spin offs.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they probably will actually give it a reboot. Whether it's with her or reboot the character, I think we both would rather her just take over the mantle. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of story and backstory to her as well before we met her to where she is.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So you can either explore that or you can explore after this film.
Yeah. In that case, would you rather that happen, or would you just rather that they just close out this series, just the franchise in general? Or would you like to see more, perhaps a different take on a different character in the same world?
I'd want a different character, like a different archaeologist or something.
Yeah.
But seen in the same world where, I don't know, he's either inspired by Indiana Jones or he's like one of his biggest rivals, somewhat, you know, because you know how Indiana Jones is like a well-known and highly acclaimed archaeologist, so maybe someone that's like trying to rival his accomplishments.
Yes. Yeah. I guess that could work. I mean, we kind of got that with the villain in this one.
Yeah, we did, but it was fucking shit.
Yeah, it's really weird how it even came to be. But yeah, Mad Mikkelsen, he's just the same when it comes to any kind of villainous role.
I think his best one's still Casino Royale.
Yeah. And one final question before we get to our scores. With knowing that this is Harrison Ford's last outing as Indiana Jones, would you have preferred a more of an emotional punch with the character? Not revealing any kind of fate here, of course. Or do you think they wrapped up that character quite well?
I think they wrapped up that character quite well, especially considering, can't give away that many spoilers, but considering how we saw what he was like, or we got the backstory to his family at the start of the film and to where it ends up now at the end of the film, I think it's a perfect sort of ending for that character.
I agree. I think it's perfect, and the events of it, I think, are perfect for the character. But I wish we fleshed it out and like built up to that. Yeah. Because I didn't feel much of his pain or sorrow of, his entire life. Only when he mentions it, briefly, and then that's it. So I just wish they fleshed out that part a bit more. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where Disney takes his franchise, and it is Disney, so I assume they're going to continue it regardless. But yeah, looking at those box office tracking, it's not going to do well. You know, had a $300 million budget.
Did it?
$300 million, yeah.
Yeah. Good luck, Disney. Eh?
Yeah. I don't think it'll make that. It's not going to make it back via the box office, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Anything else to add on?
I think I said everything I needed to say.
All right, so we get to it. What is your score?
My score is 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10? I'm actually I'll give it a 6 out of 10 as well. One last thing I got to add on, the runtime. I could have cut off 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I think it was way too lengthy. It's definitely the longest film in the Indiana Jones franchise by at least 20 minutes. At least 20 minutes. Some parts just dragged on where I just zoned out for like an entire like scene and segment and
like just action scenes where they're like 15 minutes and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah. So strap yourselves in because it is a long
one. Yeah, that one will affect the viewing experience. But yeah, I think just it should have been like a clean 2 hours.
Yeah.
Had it been like real fast paced and exciting and carry that momentum, all that kind of stuff. But yes, 6 out of 10 from both of us. That is going to wrap up our review of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So, you guys likely haven't seen this yet, but if you do go see it, and you enjoyed it, let us know. If you didn't enjoy it, let us know as well. We can have a chat about it. Just let us know on Twitter. Just DM us there, and we can have a conversation. Or even if you're just excited for it and want to know a little bit more about our thoughts and stuff like that, when we won't tell spoilers over DMs or on Twitter or YouTube, but yeah, we can still have the conversation. If you enjoyed this review, please follow us from whatever podcast platform you're listening from, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Do check us out on Twitter, follow us there. Also, for more of our content, be sure to check out moviegains.com. We post the majority of our content there. This includes our box office predictions, forecasting and tracking, physical media coverage, 4K reviews, release dates, all that kind of stuff. Also, award season's ramping up, so we're doing projections for that. We're going to start rolling that out soon. And yeah, also subscribe to our email newsletter to keep up to date with our content on a weekly basis. Thanks to everyone who's joined us for this review. We'll see you next time. Keep bringing the hype.
Catch you later.